remember when I made that one video and I asked, does Charge Blade suck now? That was a video for Monster Hunter Rise. Played it on the Switch. You know what? I had a lot of things to say about Charge Blade in that video. Does it suck? Well, kinda. It's not as bad as some people make it out to be. But have I changed my mind about Charge Blade since then? Was I wrong about Charge Blade? Well, today we're going to find out, because I have some things to say about Charge Blade and Rise. And after playing it on PC more often, I have a change of heart. So as we know, the first culprit is the files. Hitting things with the files in this game is different than it was in World. So hitting a monster's head from the side, you're not going to get file damage. Maybe one or two, but not a lot. But if you hit a monster straight through their body, like this, you're usually going to get the most use of your files. And once I noticed that, then things kind of sort of changed a little bit. I didn't think Charge Blade was doo-doo dog water. Dog shit water. It took me a while to get that one. But yeah, honestly, the files kind of remind me of how they were in 4th gen, especially for you, where I felt like hitting a monster straight through the middle was the meta. And if you didn't, you wouldn't be using all your files. But the thing about that game is that it didn't have damage numbers. So it was a lot harder to tell how much damage you were doing. But now that that hitbox is very similar again, and now we have damage numbers, we've been conditioned to pay attention to those numbers and to see where our damage is coming from and how much damage we're doing. So once we actually see it, we're like, well, fuck. I think this shit sucks ass. What is up with these files? Now in World, the files did hit bigger. And they were actually a little higher. The hitbox was a little higher. But you see what I just did to this Narga just now? Knocked it out and hit it straight through its body from the middle of its head. That's usually a really good place to hit most monsters at. It gets tricky when a monster is smaller, like Great Azuchi. And that shit gets really wild, and you might start to hate the weapon when you fight certain monsters. So, Charge Blade does not feel like it did in World. But does that mean it's bad? Well, truthfully, no. I think it's just different. And a lot of us just couldn't come to terms with adapting to this shit. And I mean, I'm not gonna act like I wasn't the same way, because I was. For a bit, I thought the Charge Blade was complete and utter garbage in Rise at first. Even though I was still playing it and kind of enjoying it, I just felt like it just wasn't that great. Then I played around with it more. I played around with the new Savage Axe mode. Is actually, I mean, I think it's fun. It really is fun, regardless of whether it does less damage than Savage Axe did in World or Iceborne. I mean, that's another thing entirely. Then when it comes to counter peak performance, I mean, that right there is adaptation. Is that even with full guard and red shield, there are certain moves that you can't fully block without some recoil. So you're going to need something like counter peak performance, which will guard against anything with no recoil, and you get free files. So yeah, I think it's all about adapting. Now, that's not to say that things about Charge Blade isn't, you know, not that great, because like I said, the files, not that great, to be honest. But I can work with what we have, like, honestly. But yeah, I mean, overall, I would say that I may have been a little bit wrong about it, and I know some people hated it more than I did. I still gave it a chance, but I said that compared to World, it was complete and utter garbage. But now, I think it's just different, and I'm not the only one who shares that sentiment. Give CB a chance. So yeah, bada bing, bada boom. There's my thoughts on the goddamn Charge Blade right now for Rise. It's fun, but sometimes when I pick it up, depending on the monster I'm fighting, I just feel like I'm playing like garbage. Maybe I am garbage. It's okay, you can tell me. You can tell me I'm garbage. You can tell me I suck. Yeah, I mean, some of you have done it before. Remember that GU video? Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, some of you shat all over my whole life, but it's okay. I'm going to suck at that game because I barely play it. It's okay. It makes sense. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, consider sticking around and hitting that sub button. Oh, and also give the video a like. Dislike it if you dislike it. Peace.